Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room in reverse alphabetical order. Here's the Overflow, at least that part of it that's actually been alphabetized. There's an awful lot that hasn't been. We'll get to that one of these years in the future. Right now we're on Prokofiev. Yes, lots and lots of Prokofiev. So let's start with today's clump. And in today's clump we have, this famous disc of Romeo and Juliet suites with Rostropovich, suites 1 and 2 actually, with Rostropovich and the National Symphony Orchestra of Washington, D.C. Now this was kind of controversial. When Rostropovich started recording for Deutsche Grammophon, remember he had been on EMI, Angel, whatever that thing was, which is now Warner, but he jumped ship to Deutsche Grammophon and he did a Shostakovich Fifth and this. And both were kind of controversial. And he was quite defensive in his program notes or liner notes. Maybe he still has them in here. I don't know. But there are some eccentric tempos. Oh, yes. Especially the death of Tybalt. You know, when he dies. Thump, 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 thump. I'm not going to do all 11 of them. I mean, it's too many thumps. But yeah, and in the opening folk dance and all kinds of things. But they're exciting. They're exciting and very personal performances. And Rostropovich claims, since he was quite friendly with Prokofiev and saw him play the whole thing on the piano, that this is what Prokofiev would have done. I don't know. Frankly, I don't really care what Prokofiev would have done. I care about whether this is a good recording of Romeo and Juliet. And it is. So, you know, we don't have to flip out about that. Then we've got, this is on the consonance label as opposed to the dissonance label. Remember them? No, nobody remembers them. This is the Rozhdestvensky USSR Radio and TV Large Symphony Orchestra of the Prokofiev cycle. It's the Prokofiev cycle. Is it all of them? 1, 7, 2, 3, 5. 6 may be somewhere else. I think I have all of it sitting around here somewhere. These are good performances. They're really good performances. I enjoy them very much, and they're well recorded too in stereo. I wonder what happened to 6. I know I have it somewhere. It's either back there or upstairs. Who knows? You also get the Ode on the End of the War with Leonid Nikolaev conducting, the same orchestra, and the Pushkin Waltzes with Fuat Mansurov conducting the same orchestra. So this is worth hanging on to because you couldn't get it anywhere else for a long time. I mean, it's Melodia, of course, but you know how it got licensed or stolen or where and on what labels, it was anybody's guess back in those days. And so we didn't really sweat it. We just grabbed it while we could. Then we've got Cinderella and the ballet On the Dnieper, which nobody plays anymore. It's actually kind of pretty. This is also with Rozhdestvensky. Now, I've talked about the Rozhdestvensky cycle of all the Prokofiev ballets. It's in a beautiful box that Melodia published a while ago, and then it was in a cheap, crummy box that Melodia published a while ago. And I have both of them. And here's a single version. This is from Melodia BMG, back in the days when they were licensing stuff to them. It's endless. Oh, here's a classic. Wait a minute, this is classic. Well, let's do an unclassic first. Symphonies 2 and 3 with Rostropovich. This is part of his Prokofiev cycle, which we talked about in the last video. And I guess this one wasn't in there because it's here. These are good performances. They're not great. This is not the best Prokofiev cycle out there, possibly because the Orchestre Nationale de France is not all that. And Rostropovich was not the kind of conductor who could get an all-that ensemble to do better than that. Although he did accomplish something like that in Washington. He did. He got them to really surpass themselves in Shostakovich. So, but this was earlier and not as good. So, here's that. Then here's the classic. Oh, yes. The Ančerl, Czech Philharmonic Prokofiev, Romeo and Juliet. This is just called Scenes from the Ballet because it's really a mishmash of stuff that's in both suites, 10 tracks, and you've also got the classical symphony in mono, but it's fabulous with the Czech Philharmonic. This is, as I've said, and most of you have heard it, have agreed, the most intense, crazy, passionate, expressionistic recording of the Romeo and Juliet music you have ever heard. If you think light ballet music is just sort of like, ballerinas and frou-frou and what that. Listen to Romeo and Juliet before parting and Romeo at Juliet's grave. The last two tracks here. Oh my God, it is so, so tragic and dark and screamingly intense and raw, and it's amazing. It's an amazing performance. It really is. But then again, Ančerl was sort of like that with most of the things he did. Then we've got, let's see, some more of the Bernd Glemser Prokofiev piano sonatas, which are quite good. Quite good. This is numbers 1, 3, and 4 plus 10 pieces from Romeo and Juliet, which is a wonderful, wonderful work. I wonder why that doesn't get recorded more often. It's really first-rate stuff. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. It's getting late. Then we've got, the Scythian Suite, the Fifth Symphony, with Celibidache. Holy crap, with the Stuttgart Radio Symphony Orchestra. Boy, are these bad. I saved this. This was part of that DG Celibidache edition, and I broke it up and filed it in various places. Soft-edged, absolutely mediocre orchestra, mediocre conducting, mediocre. It's not as insanely slow as he later became. It's not quite nutso, but we're on the way. And then we've got this, Cinderella, with the Cleveland Orchestra and Ashkenazy. Now, one of you said, wasn't that Laurent Mazel? No, it was not. Laurent Mazel did Romeo and Juliet. He did not do Cinderella. They brought in Ashkenazy for that, and this is a wonderful performance of Cinderella. It has all the same qualities that Mazel's had, that sort of razor-sharp articulation and wonderful balances, and, it's Cleveland, doing Cleveland. And one of the things that they pride themselves on is being fabulous, no matter who their conductor is. And Ashkenazy certainly knows this music. It also contains an excellent, with the Royal Philharmonic version of Glasenov's The Seasons. I love The Seasons. And this is a beautiful performance of it, which nobody talks about. It seems to be completely, out there somewhere. And, so here it is. This was a deal, as a twofer, really a deal. And so there you have it. Some interesting Prokofiev, some stuff I kept just because I kept it, and stuff I kept because it's great. And I have duplicated some of it upstairs, like Ančerl, for example, and the Ashkenazy Cinderella. I think I have in 2 places as well. Anyway, keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.